I've built a lot of things in my life, but this is by far the most important. This project didn't start with market research or a design brief. It started with an email from a mom who needed help. In short, her son uses a specialized wheelchair that has a custom tray for his activities. The tray is this flat surface that can be mounted in front of her son. It's made of wood and has these black bumpers on either side and one at the front. The problem she is facing is that the smooth wooden surface of the tray makes it hard for plastic toys to stay in place during playtime. In this video, I'm going to talk about how I designed and built an attachment for wheelchairs that keeps toys and other objects in place. We went back and forth 17 times, and here's what else I got. This thing needs to be safe. No sharp edges or pinch points where he can get his fingers stuck. It has to work with all of his toys. It must withstand the force of a very determined kid. It also has to be totally removable. And lastly, the changes have to be really minimal. And we want to keep the chair more or less in the original state. I feel like we have a pretty good grasp on the problem and what matters most to the mom. Now let's start looking for some solutions. I started by checking around for existing solutions. I scoured the market but couldn't find anything that fit the bill. That's when we started brainstorming ideas. After a few nights, I came up with a few possible paths. Option one looks a little bit like this. It has a universal base that clamps to the tray, and the toys actually are fixed to the universal base. And that base can be removed by undoing the clamps, and there's no modifications to the tray. Option two is pretty much the clone of option one, but instead of the clamps, I offered her some clips that would make it easier or quicker to remove and just like a different take on the first idea. Option three is pretty different. So instead of having a universal base for the toys, each individual toy would get a custom base. The benefit of option three is that there's no total coverage of the tray, and maybe for every single custom base, there's only 2 or 3 mounting holes, and every one of his toys could be modified to adjust to one of these 3 holes. I sent these to the mom and waited. She got back to me and said, "These ideas are great. I'm leaning towards the first option with the clamps. It's perfect for our setup." Awesome. Now it's time to build. Because her son needed the tray every single day, I couldn't take it for testing. So I made a 1-to-1 replica of the tray to work on in my shop. I used cell phone photos and a tape measure to capture the tray's exact shape and size. And then back in the shop, I removed any distortion from the images and traced the outlines in CAD. Investing time here saved me a lot of hassle later when the final prototypes needed to fit perfectly. Next, I designed a tension mechanism to lock the toy base securely to the tray. And really quick, I know she picked the clamp idea, but I found a way to build a clamping system right into the toy base. Same outcome, fewer parts. This mechanism is what keeps the attachment firmly in place. I used the black bumpers on the tray as anchor points and created a mechanism that could contract to fit into the slot. Then, with turning the knobs, the mechanism would expand outward, pressing against the bumpers to hold everything tightly in position. Lastly, I made the whole thing parametric so it can be modified to fit other trays or accessibility equipment. So the build is over. I'm going to show you what this whole thing looks like. To install the attachment, you simply drop it into place so the compression bar and post fit snugly inside the tray bumpers. Then turn the wheels to tighten the compression bar against the bumpers. And once it's finger tight, the base is locked in place and ready for action. To remove it, just reverse the process. Loosen the hand wheels and then lift the attachment right off. Here's a quick clip of Z using the device. It's short, but I caught this just before Z had an appointment and didn't have much time. Seeing him use something I created, it's hard to put into words how good that feels. Creating the solution for real people is one of the most rewarding things I've ever done. If you know someone who could use something like this, feel free to reach out. My email's on the screen. Thanks for watching.